Ever felt something you couldn't explain? That chilling sense of being utterly alone, not in a room, but in your own skin. A feeling that no matter who surrounds you, you are a ship lost in an endless, starless sea. You've been taught to seek connection, to find your other half, to lean on others. But what if that very teaching is the anchor dragging you down into the abyss? What if the key to true strength isn't found in another's hand, but in the silent, forgotten chambers of your own soul? You've been searching for a harbor in someone else, when you were born to be your own unbreakable vessel. The world has sold you a beautiful lie, and tonight we shatter it. Look around you. See the quiet desperation in their eyes, the forced smiles at social gatherings, the frantic scrolling through digital lives that aren't their own. They are all running from the one thing they cannot escape, themselves. You feel it too, don't you? That gnawing emptiness when the party ends, and the silence of your own home screams louder than any crowd. You've been told this is loneliness, a problem to be solved with more friends, more love, more validation. But the great physician of the soul, Carl Jung, saw it not as a void, but as a calling, a sacred, terrifying invitation. He understood that modern life has turned us into ghosts. We are echoes of what others expect us to be: parents, partners, employees, citizens. We wear these masks for so long that we forget the face beneath. The hollowness you feel is not a lack of people. It is the absence of you. It is the cry of your true self, buried under layers of conformity and fear. You've been taught to fear solitude, to see it as a failure. But Jung knew it was the crucible of true creation. It is the dark soil from which the strongest trees grow, their roots reaching deep into the hidden earth of the unconscious. This journey into self-reliance isn't about pushing the world away. It's about pulling your own soul back from the brink. It's about facing the darkness within, not with a sword, but with a lantern. And what you find in that darkness will either save you or consume you. The choice has always been yours. You just didn't know you had one. Until now. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. These weren't just words for Jung. They were a diagnosis for the sickness of an entire world. He saw humanity sleepwalking, dreaming the dreams of the collective, hypnotized by the glittering illusions of the external world. But the real world, the one that truly matters, is the one that pulses within you. Jung dared to suggest that the greatest adventure isn't to be found in scaling mountains or crossing oceans, but in descending into the depths of your own psyche. He gave us a map, not of the heavens, but of the soul. He spoke of the shadow, that dark part of ourselves we deny and project onto others. The monster under the bed is not a fantasy. It is a disowned piece of your own being. He spoke of the anima and animus, the hidden feminine within the man, and the hidden masculine within the woman, the inner partners we ignore while desperately seeking completion in another. And most importantly, he spoke of individuation. This is the core of his vision and the heart of our journey tonight. Individuation is the process of becoming a true individual, whole and undivided. It is the painful, lifelong task of integrating all the warring parts of yourself, the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine, the conscious and the unconscious, into a unified, self-reliant whole. This isn't about self-improvement. That's a shallow game of adding new masks. This is about self-realization, a brutal, beautiful stripping away of everything you are not. Jung's vision is a terrifying one for the modern mind because it demands everything. It demands you stop looking for saviors. It demands you turn your gaze inward and confront the chaos you've been avoiding. He said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." That choice is the beginning of self-reliance. It's the moment you stop being a passive victim of your life story and become its active author. It's the realization that the validation you crave from the world is a cheap imitation of the acceptance you must first grant yourself. Where did this dependency begin? Why does the thought of standing truly alone feel like a death sentence? The root of this pain, this desperate need for external validation, grows from the soil of your earliest experiences. It begins in the cradle, when your very survival depended on the love and care of another. A baby's cry is a raw existential plea. See me, acknowledge me. Without you, I am nothing. This is our first and most profound lesson in dependency. But for so many of us, that need was never fully met. Perhaps it was a parent who was physically present but emotionally distant. their own unresolved pain casting a long shadow over your childhood. Perhaps it was the conditional love that was only given when you performed, when you were the good child, teaching you that your worth was not inherent, but something to be earned. You learned to contort yourself, to cut off pieces of your authentic self, just to receive a flicker of approval. The class clown who secretly cries himself to sleep. The overachiever who is terrified of making a single mistake. The people pleaser who has forgotten how to say no. These are not personalities. They are survival strategies born from a deep, primal wound. This wound is the belief that you are in your natural state insufficient, that you are somehow broken, and you need someone else's love, approval, or presence to be made whole. Society reinforces this wound at every turn. Romantic comedies sell you the fantasy of a soulmate who will complete you. Advertisements create insecurities you never knew you had, then sell you the cure. Social media becomes a relentless performance, a desperate auction for likes and shares, each notification a fleeting hit of the validation you crave. You are a ghost, haunting the lives of others, hoping someone will finally see you and make you real. This is the root of your pain. Not loneliness, but a profound, terrifying disconnection from your own intrinsic worth. You are waiting for a permission slip to exist, and it is never coming. The great illusion, the lie whispered from the cradle to the grave, is this: your salvation lies outside of you. This is the central doctrine of a society built on consumption and control. It doesn't want whole, self-reliant individuals. It wants hungry ghosts, perpetually seeking, never finding, always consuming. It wants you to believe that happiness is a product you can buy, a status you can achieve, or a person you can possess. Think about it. From the moment you wake, you are bombarded. The news tells you the world is a terrifying place and you need its protection. The economy tells you your value is determined by your productivity and possessions. The culture tells you that you are unlovable until you are thinner, richer, more popular. This entire system is designed to keep you looking outward, to keep you disconnected from the one source of power it can never control: your inner self. It doesn't want you to discover that contentment is a state of being, not a state of having. It doesn't want you to know that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to walk alongside it. It doesn't want you to realize that the only love that can truly heal you is the love that you generate for yourself. This illusion is a prison without bars. It convinces you that your dependency is love, that your fear is practicality, and that your conformity is wisdom. It makes you a willing participant in your own enslavement. You chase promotions, relationships, and experiences, believing they will fill the void. But it's like trying to quench a thirst by drinking salt water. Each sip only makes you thirstier. The illusion traps you in an endless cycle of hope and disappointment. You're a hamster on a wheel, running towards a horizon that recedes with every step. The most subversive, rebellious act you can perform in this society is to simply stop, to turn away from the glittering distractions and face the terrifying, liberating truth of your own inner world. The system is terrified of the person who finds their center, because that person can no longer be sold to, scared, or controlled. And so we arrive at the raw, unfiltered truth that Jung spent his life excavating. The philosophical bedrock beneath the shifting sands of illusion. The truth is this: you are already whole. You were born whole. The journey of life is not about finding missing pieces. It is about removing the debris that covers the masterpiece that you already are. This is the essence of individuation. Jung would say that your dependency, your pain, your neuroses are not signs that you are broken. They are the screams of the parts of you that you have abandoned. Your shadow, all the anger, the envy, the selfishness you deny, is not evil. It is a source of immense power, vitality, and authenticity waiting to be integrated. When you deny your shadow, you project it. You see the monsters in others because you refuse to face the one inside. To become self-reliant, you must turn and face it. You must own your darkness. You must learn its name and integrate its strength. Furthermore, your endless search for the perfect partner is a fool's errand. You are seeking your anima or animus, that inner image of the divine feminine or masculine, in another person. You place an impossible burden on them to be your God, your savior, your everything. This is not love. It is spiritual vampirism. Self-reliance in the Jungian sense means withdrawing that projection. It means cultivating a relationship with that inner figure. It means the man learning to nurture his own inner garden of feeling and intuition, and the woman learning to wield her own inner sword of logic and assertion. When you do this, you don't stop loving others. You begin to love them for who they truly are, not for who you need them to be. You connect not from a place of desperate need, but from a place of sovereign wholeness. This is the terrifying, liberating truth. The ultimate responsibility for your happiness, your wholeness, and your life rests entirely on you. No one is coming to save you, because you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to be realized. The moment this truth begins to dawn in your soul, a war begins. It is the most intimate and brutal war you will ever fight. It is the war between the ego and the self. The ego is the little king, the mask you've worn your whole life. It built its castle on the foundation of external validation and the approval of others. It screams in terror at the thought of giving up control. It will tell you this path is selfish. It will whisper that you will end up alone and unloved. It will dredge up every fear, every insecurity, every past failure to convince you to turn back to the familiar prison of dependency. This is the dark night of the soul that mystics have spoken of for centuries. It's a period of profound disorientation. The old world no longer makes sense, but the new one has not yet been born. You will feel a tearing inside you. One part of you will desperately want to cling to the old ways, to seek comfort in another's arms, to lose yourself in distraction. The other part, the emerging self, will pull you relentlessly toward solitude, toward introspection, toward the painful work of facing your own demons. Friends may fall away, unable to understand the change in you. Relationships built on codependency will crumble under the weight of your newfound authenticity. You will feel utterly, terrifyingly alone. This conflict is the fire of transformation. Every moment you choose to sit with your discomfort instead of running from it, you are forging a new kind of strength. Every time you refuse to betray your own inner truth for the sake of someone else's approval, you are laying another stone in the foundation of your own sovereignty. Jung knew this process was not for the faint of heart. He said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is that process. It is the descent into hell with no guarantee of return, but it is the only path. To resist this conflict is to remain a child forever, to embrace it, to endure it, to allow it to burn away everything that is not essentially you, is the beginning of your rebirth. It is the agonizing birth of a self-reliant soul. Out of the ashes of that internal war, a new structure begins to rise. This is the reconstruction. It is not built with the frantic energy of the ego, but with the quiet, deliberate wisdom of the self. Having faced your shadow, you no longer fear the darkness in others. You develop a profound compassion, born not of pity, but of understanding. You see the same struggles, the same fears, the same hidden parts in everyone you meet. Your judgment softens into discernment. Having withdrawn your projections, you begin to build authentic relationships for the first time. You no longer need someone to complete you, so you are free to simply connect with them. Love ceases to be a desperate bargain and becomes a free gift, given from a place of fullness, not of lack. You learn the sacred art of setting boundaries, not as walls to keep people out, but as fences that define the sacred ground of your own being. Saying no without guilt becomes one of an act of profound self-love. This new life is built on a foundation of solitude, but it is a different kind of solitude now. It is not the aching void of loneliness, but the generative silence of communion with the self. You find that you are your own best company. In this silence you begin to hear the whispers of your own intuition, the voice you drowned out for so long with the noise of the world. Your creativity, once blocked by the fear of judgment, begins to flow. You start to make choices in your career, your relationships, your daily life that are aligned not with what you should do, but with who you are. This is the quiet, unshakable power of the self-reliant individual. It is not a loud, arrogant independence. It is a deep, resonant peace. You are like the ancient tree that has weathered 1,000 storms. Your strength is not in your rigidity, but in the depth of your roots, sunk deep into the earth of your own soul. You have finally come home to yourself, so you have walked through the fire. You have faced the shadows and reclaimed the lost parts of your soul. You have learned that the greatest prison was never outside of you, and that the key was always in your own hand. You stand now, not as a half looking for its other, but as a complete world unto yourself. The world will not understand you. It will call your serenity aloofness, your boundaries selfishness, and your self-reliance a rejection of love. Let them. You are no longer speaking their language. You are listening to the ancient silent rhythm of your own heart. You have stopped asking the world for permission to be you. The desperate need for validation has been replaced by a quiet, unshakable self-respect. You have become your own source, your own anchor, your own sacred ground. But do not mistake this for an ending. This is the true beginning. The journey of individuation is never truly over. It is a continual unfolding, a constant deepening. The ultimate question is no longer, how can I be loved, but a far more terrifying and magnificent one. Now that you are free from the need for anything outside of yourself, what will you choose to create? What truth will you speak? What unique, unrepeatable light, born from your own integrated darkness, will you now shine into the world? The universe is not waiting for another echo. It is waiting for your voice. If this video touched something inside you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Comment below what made you think the most. We'll see you in the next video.